Hey everybody, Boom here with another Destiny video. This time I'm here to commemorate everything that Destiny has been for us and what to expect from Destiny 2. This video does have a lot of personal opinions and belief, and I feel like everybody's entitled to that. So please do feel free to share your opinions in the comments down below. Now, let's begin. Destiny. What can I say about this game other than I was excited about it when it was announced at E3's 2013? I'm a big Bungie fan, and you can guarantee that I made sure to pre-order Destiny and play both the alpha and the beta. Now, before we get into this, I just want to say this isn't an in-depth analysis of Destiny, but just an overall look at the game. Now, we need to talk about the famed vanilla Destiny campaign. Because of it, Destiny was one of the most hated games out there in the PS4. Ranked number 3 on WhatCulture's top 15 most hated PS4 games so far. I mean, at least it's not number 1. No Man's Sky. Anyway, obviously, Destiny, just like Destiny 2 and any other games, they are meant to appeal to a certain type of audience and aren't meant for everyone. Now, can I really say I hate this game? Of course not. Sure, there are problems with it, but that's just how games are. There isn't the perfect game out there, one that will appeal to everyone and everything. One of my main problems with Destiny, and that's just how everybody felt, was the lack of story. Since I do feel like I'm going to go through everything, I don't want to talk about DLC right now, but I would like to mention we have strong reasons to believe that most of our vanilla campaign was cut. And to be quite honest, most of the game just feels slow and like Bungie didn't want to interest their players. They had 3 years to work on this game, and they simply didn't have time to explain why they didn't have time to explain. There was a lot of concept art in which it seems some characters might have gone in another direction or were just completely cut. And that's really a shame, especially in a game like Destiny that was given a fresh start and had a lot of potential in storytelling, but instead we end up by going to someplace on Mars called the Black Garden, which we don't know a lot about except that you need to access it through a Vex technology by using the power of the Vex Gate Lord, and once again you think that this game builds up to a big boss fight, light versus darkness, good versus evil, and in the end you're just left there with confusing as you're fighting what appears to be old statues of Vex, which to be quite frank is just another Gate Lord boss fight, but instead of it being 1, it's, well, 3. Yay. But I mean, I can't be too harsh with Bungie. They say you can't judge a book by its cover, but god damn it, this was the story, and it sucked. Now you might be thinking, is this guy really hating on Destiny? Like, oh my god, dislike. But no, that's not it at all. I'm glad people complain so much about the story. Bungie then realized they needed to do change, and change is coming to Destiny 2. Destiny 2 right now has over 80 story missions. 80! That's roughly 5 more than 3 years of content we had with Destiny. I mean, Vanilla, Dark Below, House of Wolves, Taken King, and Rise of Iron? Moving on, we have the Vault of Glass, which released on September 16th, 2014, Destiny's first raid and seen by many as the best raid in Destiny. It holds a lot of nostalgia for Destiny players. It had some sweet new loot that no one had ever gotten or was ever going to get thanks to Forever 29. But yes, back in these days progression was all that we wanted, and of course it was the only thing we couldn't get, all thanks to RNGesus. Well, to start off, it's the very first raid that I did with my clan, the Avengers of Legends, and I mean, what's not to love about this raid? The boss mechanics were fantastic, even when some mechanics were broken and there was a lot of exploits. This was still a fun raid to do. Who didn't want to throw solar grenades at the Templar to make them fall off, or throw void grenades to make Atheon fall off? It was awesome just to see those gigantic bosses just fall off the edge of the space-time continuum. Bye, have a beautiful time. This raid still to this day has people wondering about its secrets, like the hidden passages, and of course, the famed 7th chest. Next, we got the cream of the crop, the forsaken one, the loot cave. Yes, when loot isn't dropping from our raid, we gotta go down to the Cosmodrome, go to the Skywatch, find the cave, and kill some hive. Try for countless hours to get those commons, rares, and legendaries. This started around September 17th, which would have been 1 day after Vault of Glass dropped. What does that tell you, Bungie? And people were anxious to level up their Guardians and try to find as many ways as possible to do so. Bungie did become aware of this, only for them to patch this in the later updates, in which other Guardians found a second loot cave system in the Rocket Yard, which was again patched at a later date, and as a farewell to the loot caves everywhere, Bungie then placed a secret message inside of it. In regards to Master Raoul the Cryptarch, all of those engrams and death were not enough for him. The Queen's Wrath, which some of you might be thinking, what the hell is that? It was a limited time event available from September 23rd to October 6, 2014. This was Destiny's first live event, and players thought it was a little underwhelming. Players took part in a variety of bounties and new mission modes provided by Queen Marasov. In return, we received unique legendary and rare gear for our Guardians. I think I'd gotten a legendary piece for my Titan. I can't remember. It's long gone. Deleted. But the armor set did make a return in Destiny's Year 3, which were dropped by Petra Venge during the Rise of Iron expansion after completing her bounties and leveling up her reputation bar, which then dropped her faction package. Who do we call for when we need an exotic? Xur. Xur's appearance begins on October 3rd, 2014. This tentacled freak is a mysterious fellow. He comes from the Nine, an organization that still isn't fully explained, but from what we know, Xur brings us exotic items that would be considered trash from where he's from. In the second week, he brought us the Galahorn, the most OP gun in the game. This rocket launcher was by far the most wanted gun, by everyone. But, as usual, everyone's first thought on the gun was, why would I ever want to waste my strange coins on an exotic rocket launcher? And boy, oh boy, did the people who didn't purchase learn their mistakes. It was of course obtainable through drop rates and raids, but you had to be very lucky to get it, which made everyone hate him for not bringing it back until the last week before Taken King, where both light level and base levels were getting changed and rendered useless. To this day, Xur still finds a little nook and cranny at the tower or in the reef and tries to sell Guardians rare trinkets. Destiny's second live event, and also a future recurring one, is the Iron Banner. Iron Banner started October 7th, 2014 and followed Destiny until the very end, where the last Iron Banner officially took place on the week of August 7th, 2017. Held at first by Lord Saladin, and in the latest year by Aphrodite, this event is a PvP event. Like the Crucible, but with the advantage where light levels do matter, which means you can't get killed by level 4 Guardian who just set foot outside the Cosmodrome. Although this wasn't always the case, the very first Iron Banner that had started on the week of October 7th, 2014 was actually bugged, and well, you could actually get killed by a level 4 who just came out of the tower. But Bungie fixed this later on and made Iron Banana great again. Ah yes, Destiny's first expansion, The Dark Below, was just around the corner, and with it came some changes to Destiny. The Blades of Crota started December 1st, 2014. This was 8 days before The Dark Below officially dropped. The Blades of Crota was a little way to implement a new adventure in farming before the official release of The Dark Below. It gave player a chance to use a sword and item that players were only able to use once before in the mission Sword of Crota. You see, like Vault of Glass, Dark Below had its own exotic raid weapon. But unlike the Vex Mythoclast, the exotic for Crota's End was actually available through these Blades of Crota. Basically, you would wander the area in Old Russia and in the Oceans of Storms. Once you find one, kill it, and you get a chance for it to drop the Husk of the Pit. Now, what was interesting about it was that this weapon had 3 phases. It started off as a white Husk of the Pit, then after a certain amount of kills, it would actually be upgradable through a node and evolve it into the Eidolon Ally. The Eidolon Ally was a legendary auto rifle. Once it was fully upgraded, there was a last node to upgrade it, and it required the Crux of Crota, which dropped from the raid boss, Crota. This would change the weapon from a legendary into an exotic, the one and only Necrochasm. Now enough about the prelude. What about the actual DLC? The Dark Below was released on December 9th, 2014, and well, to be quite honest, I consider The Dark Below number 4 on my list of best DLC for Destiny. So not last, but just above, for the story content. But as for the raid itself, I place it at number 3. Here's why I made these choices. Obviously, this was Destiny's first expansion, so it's to be expected that the story content was a little wonky and different. It was meant to match the new raid. The story, although, did it justice to explain the revival of Crota. Next we have the actual raid, which I have to say is a lot of fun. From the first time you make your way down and see the Thrallway Maze, the place where Eris was stuck for so long, to actually coordinating a team and choosing a swordbearer to smack Crota's ass back into space. But this raid did have a problem not long after release. That problem, / exploit, was the LAN cable strategy. This exploit killed the raid and any chances to compete with the Vault of Glass at the time. Sure, it's been patched, and even with the new 3.99 Lite re-release and new challenge mode, it's still haunted by its past. A couple of months later, we entered spring of 2015, the era of the House of Wolves. But before that started, the Prowling of the Wolves, which started on April 14th, 2015, 1 month before the initial release of House of Wolves. It was just like the Blade of Crota, this was a pre-DLC event. This event would spawn waves of fallen enemies in different areas. When defeated, in the specific time limit, you would be granted with a buff called Aether Key. With this buff, you could open a glowing loot chest, which was distributed in your area, but you also had to find the chest within the time limit. Once found and opened, you would be granted with Glimmer, special engrams, and sometimes it would have a chance to drop what was called a treasure key, which would be used in the House of Wolves DLC. Okay, so let's just talk about the elephant in the room, the House of Wolves expansion. It was released on May 19th, 2015, and boy was it ever a disappointment. I mean, with it brought the Vestian Dynasty and the Dreg's Promise, which was Destiny's first ever sidearms, which are quite popular in the Destiny community and are going to be in Destiny 2. But other than that, House of Wolves was an absolute garbage. From not having a raid and giving us Prison of Elders, which was just a survival mode with a final boss. But the only one that had any interest for everyone was Skolas's Revenge, which at the time was a level 35 Prison of Elders, which was not really of a challenge. You just had to fight through 3 phases and kill him. Then if you would make it into the bottom of the treasure room and you didn't have a treasure key, well, you simply couldn't open the chests and you simply did all that battling for nothing, which means you were risking everything for no reward if you weren't paying attention. Not only that, but the story for this expansion had a major lack of drive. Find Skolas, he runs away. Find where he is, capture him, and then fight him in a prison. Next. Can't forget about the other thing House of Wolves brought to Destiny, the Salt Mines. Sorry, I meant the Trials of Osiris. The Trials of Osiris is a Crucible event that is available every weekend from Friday to the weekly reset on Tuesday. The first Trials of Osiris was held on May 22nd, 2015, and ended its continuation on August 14th, 2017. What is Trials? Well, it's a 3v3 elimination style crucible where the first team wins best 3 out of 5, wins the match. If you do 9 victories without any losses, you get to make it to the Lighthouse, a secret area held on Mercury where you can get some sweet Egyptian style loot. But fret not, Destiny 2 fans, there are speculations that Trials will be returning, but as Trials of the 9. The Year 1 Moments of Triumphs were a series of accomplishments and Year 1 activities that players could finish for rewards. Progress was tracked on the Bungie.net. This limited time event ended with the release of the Taken King and the beginning of Year 2. Okay, so let's look at these challenges, shall we? Apprentice of Light, get one of your characters to reach the maximum level. Light of the Garden, defeat the Dark Heart of the Black Garden. Complete the mission, the Black Garden. Pretty self-explanatory. Light in the Dark, prevent the summoning of Crota's soul. Complete the mission, the Awakening. Light of the Reef, captured Skolas in the Vex Citadel. Complete the mission, Queen's Ransom. Bane of Skolas, defeat the Prison of Elders on hard difficulty. Complete the level 35 challenge mode, Skolas Revenge. Bane of Atheon, defeat Atheon on hard difficulty. Complete the raid, Vault of Glass on heroic. Bane of Crota, defeat Crota on hard difficulty, completing the raid, Crota's End on heroic. Public Servant, complete 50 public events, Crucible Gladiators, win 100 Crucible matches, and Chess Hunter. Find all the golden chests, which there are 5 on each planet, makes 20. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this retrospective on the first year of Destiny. I'll be hard at work to get Destiny's Year 2 video out for you guys. Let me know what you think of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with all your friends. I'm Boom 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 Man, and I'm out.